What's up? This is Ryan.
Hey, and it's Michael. Welcome to another episode of All Day Unpacked. And we are balls deep into the playoffs.
We sure are. There's been some big time losers.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to watch. We saw another Patrick Mahomes. Well, I don't know what you want to call that. A lot of unhappy fans about a lot of calls, and we saw Lamar Jackson go, "Boo," and we saw Jared Goff go, "Boo." It's been interesting.
Yeah, so hold on, back up a second. Okay, let's take this one at a
Put in
time.
reverse, Terror.
Yeah, put tear back it up, tear. I need okay, first of all, Mahomes is Mahomes, so whatever. I get that bullshit. Anyway, what you're saying we saw Lamar Jackson go like, are you talking about his post game press conference where he was like calling people out? Are you talking about his play or what do
I
you
didn't
what's
hear
your
I didn't hear about him calling anybody out, but I mean I will say this. It's like, oh, he did. He called like names out.
No, but he was talking about how like we gotta he's like we gotta effing catch or I don't know why I'm saying effing, but he's like we gotta fucking hold on to the ball. I'm tired of this bullshit.
I
And
think he was talking about himself because he fumbled.
I know, but I also thought maybe he was talking about Mark Andrews because Mark Andrews fumbled and also dropped the 2 point conversion. So
Yeah.
that's not going to
I
be
mean,
a moment, is it?
no, it's not. I mean, here's the thing. I mean, Mark Andrews and Lamar Jackson have carried that team on offense quite a bit, and they both fucked it up.
I
Lamar
know.
Jackson
I
had a
just,
Lamar
God.
Jackson had a really bad pick early on that cost him points, and then he
Yep.
had that fumble. They were down like near the red zone, fumbling the
Yep.
ball, carrying it like a loaf of bread,
Well, the bread. Yeah,
and
I know. I've heard people saying though, like I haven't like dug into the like, whatever. But I'm hearing like people are like kind of defending Lamar and saying it was other people's fault, and I'm just like, I don't know. I watched that game, and I'm telling you right now, Lamar was, he that interception he threw overthrew the guy. He had his own. He did not play his best game. So
no, he didn't. I mean, I just the whole thing is it's a team loss. They played a team that was better than them, and they
they
tried to
did.
go into their house and they try to win, and there's only one winner. There's only one
Yeah.
Super Bowl winner, so it's just people get kind of stupid. I heard
Yeah.
people talking, and I'm not trying to jump games on you, but the Jared Goff one, people were down on Jared Goff. Jared Goff had an amazing season, and they're
Yeah.
saying maybe this is his ceiling. I mean, maybe you should shut the fuck up and just enjoy the ride. I mean, like seriously, the Lions are deep in the playoffs and they're doing well, and Jared Goff has done excellent. And
Well, they're
he
not
kind
doing
of,
well because they've only played one playoff game this season and they lost it. So
I get it, but again, people kind of had an idea that the Commanders might match up well against them. I mean, you were saying that you called it,
I sure did.
and,
I
and
bet on the Commanders. In fact,
right,
I've got the Commanders going all the way to the Super. Here's the thing:
right,
the Commanders are going to the Super Bowl,
okay,
and I hate that because as a Bears fan, like it's But I also know that had we drafted Jaden Daniels, I'd probably be watching Caleb Williams take the Commanders to the Super Bowl. They just have really good coaching and good, So
I want to say so much about so many different things. First of all, you don't want the Commanders to go to the Super Bowl because if the Commanders go to the Super Bowl, then the Chiefs are probably going to somehow magically get there, and then they're going to beat the Commanders no problem. Second
I
of all,
disagree with that, but
the
okay.
the Eagles are going to beat the Commanders. So
No,
go ahead and mark that one down. You are so wrong on this. So we will go
I
back and we will.
let me tell you. Let me tell you why I'm not wrong. The Eagles have got Saquon Barkley, and that's it right now. AJ Brown hurt, Jalen Hurts hurt. These guys are not. These guys are hurting right now, and they are not going to be able to deliver at their utmost level on Sunday, and it is going to show up. And the Commanders will win that game.
Yeah. Okay. The Commanders.
You
Listen,
said this. Hey, I'm just saying. I said the
I'm
same
just
thing last week, and
I
you told me the Lions were going to beat the Commanders. I'll say it
yeah.
again.
All right. Well,
So
let's
we
bet a
booked it
moment on it.
last week.
Let's
Book
bet
it
a
this
moment
week.
on it. Let's
I'll
bet a
put it.
moment
Yeah,
on it.
let's do it.
Let's who are we betting?
You want to do a Tracy Walker or Nikhil Harry?
Ooh, I think we do a Nikhil Harry.
All right, you got it. Nikhil Harry on straight up. I got the
Straight
Commanders.
up.
You got the Lions.
Yeah, there's no points involved in this bullshit.
Hey, I'm
So
just. I know you don't like points and stuff, but I got to say this: the money line for the Commanders I pulled last week was 385. So that I didn't put a ton down because I'm not.
you
I
didn't
don't roll
believe that
like that.
much.
Yeah, if I'm gonna gamble money, I put it in all day. That's where I gamble my money. So if I'm gonna piss money away, I'm gonna at least have a moment to show for it.
Could be a losing cause. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean either
It,
either way.
I'm not an Eagles fan, but I'm just going to tell you right now, it's going to
Yeah.
be outdoors. The Eagles
Yep.
defense is much better than the Lions defense. The Lions defense was the reason
Oh,
the Lions lost that
100%.
game. You give up you like the Lions put up 31 points and couldn't keep up. It was disgusting how bad the Lions defense was. And I was disgusted how bad Aaron Glenn did because he kept blitzing. And even Tom Brady on the call was saying, hey, look, you might want to go to like a zone defense and make it a slow death instead of a quick death. But Aaron Glenn
Yeah.
was just like blinders on and like, let's blitz. And it was just,
I
maybe I
I
missed
hear
something.
I hear I totally hear you, but
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say that the like yes is outdoors, but I will say this: the Commanders beat the Eagles or late in the season. They came back and won that game, so
Yeah, they
it
came
could go either
back.
way. We'll see how it goes. But speaking of the
Yeah.
Lions and falling apart, uh, they lost their offensive coordinator genius today. He got moved over to the Bears. He's now the Bears head coach. How
Okay.
do you were the one that told me there was no chance on that happening. So how well, now that that happened, how are you feeling? What are you thinking?
I don't know. Here's what I'll say. Ben Johnson is a good play caller.
Yep,
But when a head coach is not a play caller, a head coach is a team leader
yep,
that appoints a play caller. Now,
yep.
maybe he knows enough about play calling that he can
That's
say to
that,
this
that
person, but
not no because McVay calls plays. So
listen, it's his
I
first year.
Ben
He's
Johnson will
never
call
he's never been
plays.
a head coach before,
Yep.
and I think
Neither
I've
is
heard that
McVay.
he's okay, but I've heard he's kind of a quiet guy.
Yeah.
Um, and so I don't know how it works out. I mean, maybe it's the
I
perfect
I'm not
match.
worried about that part. I think he'll call plays. I think he'll be fine. I think they got to find a strong defensive coordinator to bring in there, which I'm
No,
sure that's
maybe.
what they're going to do next. But yeah, my question would be like what you just said, which is how is he as a leader of men? Is he like, and again, he doesn't have to be loud for that. He just has
No,
to be effective. And so you're right. He is more of a quiet guy. His command of the locker room is what will be interesting to see because he's obviously never
right.
had that before. And so, but
Yeah.
you know, I don't know.
Here's
Look,
what I'll say. I mean, like command over the locker room. If you're winning, you got command over the locker room. You start losing, and I don't care who you are. You're just
yeah,
gonna. I
that's
mean,
a fair
people aren't gonna
point.
buy it. So I mean, there's few guys that are that good when they're losing. I thought Doug Peterson was one of the guys that actually kept a losing locker room together fairly well.
Yeah.
I think there's
Dan
very few
Campbell's a
coaches
guy
that
who
can do.
kept a losing locker room together well.
Yeah, no, I mean, I
Yeah.
think that certain guys have that trait, but again, it's when you're winning, it really doesn't matter who you are. So I mean,
You're
that's
right.
so
But then that puts a lot of pressure on the team to win right away. So, which will be
yeah.
interesting. We'll see. We'll see what happens. It's gonna be look. As a Bears fan, I'm jaded enough to like my hopes are not up. Whatever. I'm just gonna see what's
Yeah.
gonna happen. But um, at least they got the guy who's supposed to be the guy. So we'll see what happens.
I'll, I'm going to say something that's probably not going to sit well with you, but this is what I'm going to say. There's no more excuses. You got the coach,
yeah.
you got the quarterback, you got the cap space, you got all
Yep.
these fucking
They
players.
gotta
It's
go
like
get the old. Yeah,
if
they
they
gotta go
can't,
build the trenches. 100%. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Jaden Daniels was able to do it with a lot less. So if they can't do it now,
The
then there's
Commanders
no
had a better O line, but yeah. But here's the thing. You're
listen,
you're right.
then
It's
then then Ben Johnson's got all this space, then he should be
yeah.
smart enough to put that together. He's
Well,
got the
that's not
money.
Ben Johnson. That's Poles. But yeah, I got you. They should be a
It's
much more competitive team this year for sure.
They have to be. They have to be
Yeah.
at least second place or better. If they're not, it's a bust.
I mean, I disagree because I would say that if they had the Packers record, which was 12-5,
Oh,
that
that's not
was
going to
that.
happen again. That's not going to
I'm
happen
not
again.
saying it will, but I'm just saying to see
Hey,
that if
little
it's in.
secret here. You're not going to play the AFC South again, okay?
Yeah, I don't know who they. I think they have the. Who do they have next year? Is it the? Well, it might be the North, which is a
Yeah,
much
well,
tougher pull. But
yes. Yeah.
anyway, all right. Well, I know how much you love talking about the Bears. So enough, Ben Johnson. Hey, so we talked about we're betting an N'Keal Harry moment, so we should probably touch on that really quick and give an N'Keal
Sure.
Harry update, which is, um, let's just give you a quick update. So how's it going for you? How are we doing here?
We're pulling in a few, but I think like the strategy is slow and steady. I mean,
Yeah.
I think the idea is let the price come down. We've got time. It's
Yep.
like we're like a bunch of prisoners. We're gonna be here for a while. So it's
Yeah.
just like let that price come down, put in some low offers, and people they'll just eventually they'll dissipate and we will start to take over on N'Keal Harry. I saw that you got some action lately. got some offers. I had some offers in,
Mhm.
they were not accepted. But yours got accepted. It's kind of like the Ben Johnson going to the
Yep.
Bears versus the Jaguars. You kind of got
I
preferential
got
treatment
preferential
somehow.
treatment. Yeah.
Yep,
Somehow.
yep. Somehow, some
Um,
way. I don't know.
yeah. And real quick, we saw that a few of you jumped in and helped out. Uh, I don't know. Like again, I saw Wookie FC bought a bunch, and
Wookiee
I'm
FC went
assuming,
nuts.
yeah.
Yes.
So now, again, I don't know who. I don't know if that's the same person in the Discord. I'm assuming that's a different account in the Discord because I don't think I've seen that name, or I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe they've just never commented and they're just like a maybe they're just
Sure.
like kind of lurking in the shadows. But anyway, shout out to you for buying a bunch. Drop a comment sometime. Let us know who you are so we can say hi next time and put the names together.
Absolutely.
Because sometimes I lose track of. Again, it's just everybody's got different names and this and that and stuff. And
Yep.
so, but anyway, but thanks to you for participating. And then there was a few others that bought some too. So,
Right.
hey, here's the thing. Don't wait. Like there's one at 11 right now. We did raise the floor from like 5 to 11. So we effectively doubled the floor,
Well, I
and
saw the floor was at 28. Like when this first took
it
place, it went
it
from
was, but
5 to
then
28.
like you and I know how this
Yeah.
is, right? The floor goes to 28, and then like it starts slotting in, and it's been
Yep.
sitting at 11 now for a while. Like it seems to be
Right.
11 kind of seems to be the moment like where it's sitting. So
Right.
I've been offers. We're not getting them as fast right now. There's definitely the supply
Yeah.
is. I don't want to say it's dry, it's starting to dry up a little bit more in the sense of there's
It
just
just
not
takes
a ton
time.
of people. Yeah, so
It just takes
it's gonna
time.
get a
It's
little
just
bit
like,
slower. Yeah,
yeah, keep those 5, 6, 7 offers in there, and it's like eventually
yeah,
people will start to beep beep, and they'll start to drop them out. It'll happen. It's
yeah.
just got to be patient.
Yep, exactly. So
Yeah.
we're sticking with it, and
Yeah.
I think I was looking. I think between or the few people that have been participating, I think we've captured maybe 30, maybe 40 tops of
Yep.
Nikhil. So slow, like you said, slow and steady. We're gonna
Right.
build the reserves, and we'll have our little
Yeah.
Nikhil Harry army at some point.
Right. And then when the Eagles beat the Commanders, then I'll have one more.
Yeah, you sure will.
Yeah, I will. I will.
Yeah,
So that'll
but
be
if
nice
it
to have.
doesn't, if that's not how it goes, you're gonna be sad sack when you're throwing one
Hmm.
my way. So
Yeah, okay. Okay. We'll
all
see how
right.
that goes down, my friend. Let's talk about what other games did we miss? Okay,
So
let's
yeah,
quickly
let's
go
run
back
back
to
through
the
the games. We can
right
start
to
with
the
all right.
to
So Chiefs Texans, yeah,
Chiefs Texans. I thought was like I hate the Chiefs. I didn't think the calls were as crazy as, I mean, I think that they were favorable, but I think I saw a quote from Teddy Bruschi,
yeah,
who I'm not a huge fan of Teddy Bruschi,
yeah. But
but
you hate the Texans, so I don't think you're being very fair.
no, no, but I mean, what I would like to say, go ahead and say something. You say your piece. I want to bring up this clip and play it. I think this is a very like good clip about the Texans game. So go ahead
Well,
and
look,
say your
here's the
piece.
deal. Like, you can blame the refs all you want, but the Texans ultimately lost the game because they didn't cover Travis Kelsey, and that
Yeah.
is inexcusable. Travis Kelsey was wide open on
Yep.
multiple plays, and so as far as I'm concerned, like did the refs hurt? Did the refs favor the Chiefs?
Sure.
Yes. Could the Texans still have won that game? Yes. And would it have the refs weren't what like people want to blame the refs because it's an easy target. They don't want to blame the Texans' bad defense. And I'm going to say this: I don't know if karma is a thing or not, but your boy Al Shazier, who is it Al Shazier
Yeah.
or Shakir? Either way,
No,
I'm sorry, but
It's Al Shazier.
is Al Shazier. Okay, so I thought
I
number
believe it
zero
is.
on the
Yep.
Texans had a bad game. Had a
Yeah.
bad game. Man,
Yeah.
he was partially to blame for some of the Kelsey coverage too. He could
Yeah.
not drop, he could not cover, he could not do anything. He was missing hits. He did not play well. And I don't know, maybe,
Yeah.
maybe he was rusty from sitting out for 3 weeks, but although he did play the week before, but man,
Oops.
yeah, didn't
Yeah.
not a great look for him, not a great way to end the season for
Yeah.
him. And then the other thing
Maybe
I'll say too is it's like,
he
man,
picked the
CJ
wrong
Stroud,
quarterback
it
to
was
knock out.
like you saw how well CJ Stroud played last year, and he just didn't have the year this year. And it's
Yep.
crazy because the guy who was kind of coming up at the end of the year was Bryce Young. I
Yeah.
I gotta say
Yeah.
I'm keeping an eye on Bryce. Like, look, I think CJ Stroud's going to be a good quarterback too. I like that we're getting a lot of new young talent that's going to be good for years to come.
Sure.
But Bryce Young, man, I think a lot of people quit on him, and that's not maybe a little prematurely because
Yes,
he may show out why he was number one overall in the long run here.
he could. He could. Let me play this clip really quick from Teddy Bruschi here.
All right.
All right, let me get this queued up.
They will throw the Anderson, you know that's Patrick Mahomes, right? If you give the officials any type of excuse to throw the flag, they will throw the flag. I played with a guy that, yeah, he had the same type of carte blanche slash Jordan rules that Patrick Mahomes also has. All right, you're gonna get those calls, and you have to know how to win those type of games. To hear D'Amico Ryans afterwards talking about, everybody against us. Of course, he's talking about the officials. But when you lose a game and you're talking about officials, the Chiefs will just look at that and just understand that you never really understood how to beat us, because what Patrick said was exactly true. It doesn't matter what the game is. They know how to win the game they're in, not the game that they thought it would be. That's how good the Chiefs are. And then
Yep. I
Anderson,
mean, that's yeah. I
Right.
mean, I don't disagree with that at all. But what I'll say is, I really like. I've always felt like there's like kind of this in the AFC. Like, I feel like the Chiefs match up better against the Ravens. The Ravens match up better against the Bills, and the Bills match up better against the Chiefs. And
Correct.
ultimately, it's like you kept. And I know the Bills have had their shots, but I like the Bills against the Chiefs much better than I like the Ravens
The
against the
Ravens.
Chiefs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do too. Because I
So
mean, the Ravens kind of shit the bed, and I think that would have been the same thing again.
yeah,
But
I
I
mean,
I don't I
yeah,
don't like the fact that it's in Kansas City though. That makes it tougher. But the Bills have been there so many times.
yep,
I kind of want to see it. Like, I think it would be great if they won without Stephon Diggs. That would just kind of like that'd be nice for me, because it's just like Stephon Diggs was so like he always had to feed him. Now it's like
yeah,
he's got a plethora of receivers that are just like they're not me guys. I
yeah.
like that better. That tends to work out better for a lot of quarterbacks.
My favorite underrated receiver on the Bills is Matt Collins. That guy
I
just
love
his
that guy, dude.
personality is. You don't like
Yeah,
him?
no, I love that guy.
Oh, I thought you
That's
said you
that.
don't. I was like, how do you
Yeah,
not
no,
love this
his
guy?
his Insta follow him on Instagram.
Oh, I
He's
know. He's a
great.
good follow. Yeah, he's got like a
Yeah,
bunch of
so
handyman tips, and anyway,
yeah,
he's
like
just a
air
dude, and he
conditioner
is
tips.
just. Oh God, what's that?
Yeah, like air conditioner tips.
Yeah,
That's
he's like
just
it's like
like
Handyman, dude.
yeah, it's
He's like
great.
a
Follow him.
character, man. I
Yep,
fucking love that dude. So,
yep, agreed.
but he's making plays. Like, it's funny. He's one of those guys where it's like he's not like a one or a two, but he's a guy
Yeah,
that'll give you like three or four plays in a game that are like crucial catches. He's a good contested ball catcher, and he
yeah.
brings like that fire. Like, he's just getting in guys' faces and getting under their skin. He's
Made a couple
just
of
like,
special teams plays.
yeah.
Yep.
So, I like watching him play. I think, again, I would love to see like, look, I don't hate the Chiefs, so that's not what it is for me. I just like to see new teams win.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm for the Bills to win it all, just because they've never won a Super Bowl and those
yeah,
fans deserve one. And so,
yeah,
I would love to see like Bills Commanders. That would be to me would be a fun Super Bowl. Bills Eagles. I just love to see the Bills win, honestly. So,
yeah.
um,
I think Bills Eagles is kind of that sounds right to me.
yeah, I kind of feel like it's. I mean, I feel like it's
Just
going to be
don't
Chiefs
let it be
Commanders.
the
I
Chiefs
want it
and
to
the
be Bills
Eagles.
or I want it to be Bills. Again, I don't really care who wins the NFC. Honestly,
Okay.
um, I just want
I
the
think
Bills
the
to
Eagles
win.
have been enough. Like I'd like to see the Commanders. I mean, I want to
Yeah.
lose the bet. I'd love to see that, but
I mean, yeah, you're right, because the Commanders haven't won it since the '90s. So it's the
yeah,
yeah. It'd be nice for them to have a like something to celebrate there with that. Again, I think I'm probably there's a little bit of me that's just like, oh, though, but would it have been the same if we'd have gotten Daniel? Like, I don't know. Daniel's probably be dead in the grave right now if he'd have played behind our O line. So who
yeah,
knows? I mean, I don't like it's you can't. I'd love to just run that parallel universe though and see how it would have all played out, but whatever. We'll hopefully we'll see what happens. But anyway, so yeah,
yeah.
let's finish up talk about the NFC side of the things. So the Commanders game. Um, how did you feel like with the lines and stuff or whatever? I know
I
you
mean,
said
just a
Aaron Glenn. Anything else? You don't think I mean, I think Jared Goff didn't have a great game either. He missed some
no,
throws.
he didn't. But again, I mean, it's just real simple. If your defense gives up 45 points, and I know that there was one pick six in there, but
Yep.
again, the defense, I don't know if they stopped him, but on like one drive, I remember they did a 3-and-out in one drive, and it felt like if you were the Lions offense, you just felt like you kept having to like press the ball down the field and you had to
Yeah.
score. And it's just like that's a lot of pressure to have on an offense where you feel
I,
like you gotta score on
I
every
think the
possession.
Commanders only punted twice. I think it was twice they
Yeah,
punted.
yeah,
So,
and I
um,
just again,
yeah,
like I think there was
but,
two real critical plays, and I think the one was when Jared Goff threw the interception
yeah,
over the middle of the end zone towards the end of the half, because that would have cut it to 7,
yeah.
and that would have been a pretty big play. And then there was one other one. Um, I don't
The
remember
pick
what it
six.
was. Well, I mean, the pick six was like it wasn't the end of the world. I
Look,
felt
when
like
you're
the
in a shootout, you can't give the defense on the other team 6 free points like that. It's just
yeah,
that's going to come back to kill you every time. It's the same thing
fourth
that
and
bit the Ravens in the end too. But go ahead.
4th and 2
Yeah.
on the Lions like 3 or 4 yard line, 12 men on the field,
Oh yeah.
and there was a delay of game about to happen that killed the
Yeah.
Lions. I mean, if I'm a GM or if I'm a owner and I see that, Aaron Glenn ain't getting my job. That was bad.
I don't. That wasn't. I don't think that was Aaron Glenn's fault though. I think no.
You're
I
the
think honest.
defensive coordinator. You do
It
not. I mean,
doesn't.
you
No, but
just
look. Now hold on.
nah,
If the
nah.
defensive coordinator calls a defense, it's the player's responsibility to know who should or shouldn't be on that field, not the D
Call
coordinator.
somebody's got to call a timeout.
They were
Who's
trying.
responsible?
Look, they were yelling for the guys to get off, and you're right. Someone should have called a timeout. I don't know why they didn't, but I think the
There was a
penalty. No, I
there
think
was a
if the
delay of game.
no, the penalty will happen one way or another. So the even if the Lions would have called a timeout once, I believe if the offense breaks the huddle and there's 12 men on the field, the penalty happens right then and there. It
Possibly, and maybe
supersedes. Yeah.
okay. I mean, you might be right. I'd have to look into that. But what I would say is that the fact that that even happened in that type of situation, I mean
Oh
that
yeah, it's
that to
huge.
me was bigger than the pick six. Like that
You
was
know,
like that was a
no,
time in the
I
game where
disagree because look, there's no because there's nothing that says they wouldn't have gone for it there on 4th and 2 and not converted. So I think you're
no,
being
it
a
wouldn't have
little
been fourth and
dramatic
two.
here.
It would have been fourth
Well,
and 7.
there was no delay of game.
There was a delay of game.
Oh, you're
There
saying
absolutely
yeah,
yes,
no,
because
the delay of game happened because the refs. I thought because the refs whistled the whistle played it.
no, there was they were having a tough time getting the playoff, and then they realized there's 12 guys on the field and they're trying to get them off, and then the clock ran out. So there was actually I thought it was going to be a delay game, and then they said that no, there's 12 guys on the field because the play clock ran out.
I
Just trust me
okay,
on that one.
I do
Yeah,
because I don't remember exactly.
yeah,
So I don't. I mean, here's the thing: the Commanders could have called a timeout. They had them there to burn. So again, it's a pick six is 6 free points and it's demoralizing. That is a
right.
way bigger play. Look, I know you like Goff, but I'm telling you right now, Goff, like
Goff got hit in the like. I mean, dude, they should have called
oh
it a.
blah blah blah. Like, dude,
You
it's
cannot
hey.
lead with the crown of your helmet into a
Yep,
quarterback's
you're
face.
right. That should have been called as a penalty, but
Right.
there
And that would have
was
negated
on
the
a no.
touchdown.
Look, I know, but there was. I remember when I watched it, there was a penalty, the face mask. So on the Lions drive
Yeah.
where it was 3rd down, they would have been off the field, and they called a
Yeah.
face mask on the guy who was tackling Montgomery, and he grabbed his shoulder pad. That
Yeah.
should have been 4th down and 10 right there in a punt, and instead it turns into a touchdown drive. So I hear you, but
I
it's
don't, I
seven
don't
points
like
each way.
I'm just saying, like, whether it is or it isn't, I'm just saying that should have been called. And again, the
You're
momentum
right.
of that
That
would have
face mask shouldn't
changed.
have been called. No, look,
That was much later in the game.
no. I'm sorry, but
That
it's
face
seven
mask was
points for
much later
seven
in the game.
points. Nah.
No, no,
Yes,
no,
dude.
no.
Look, the Lions. Look, here's the thing. I have said it many
Momentum's
times. I'll say it
everything.
one more time. The NFC North is the old Big Ten. They do great in the regular season. They get to the bowl games or the playoffs, and they shit the bed. You want to know what? You want to know who led the NFC North in playoff wins this year? The Bears with 0, and they didn't make the playoffs. Nobody in the NFC North won a single playoff game, and it's because they didn't. They just did not show up. So
Got it.
tough shit. Tough shit to the Vikings, tough shit to the Packers, and tough shit to the Lions. So, and yeah, I'm a
Spoken
fucking
like a true Bears fan.
That's right. I'm a Bears fan. You better believe it. So here's the thing. Hey, you want to talk? You want to talk? You know who I had to listen to all season? Vikings fans, Lions fans, Packer fans, all telling me it was their year and how they were going to do it all and how blah, 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 blah. Guess what they're all doing now? Sitting on the couch watching the Super Bowl, just like the Bears with worse draft picks. See you next
Yeah.
season, boys.
Yeah. I mean, there's some truth to that.
Yeah. Hey,
But
at
again,
least we got a top 10 draft pick. And, it to me, the heartbreak, if I'm I can't imagine right now when you're a Lions fan, you just lost to the Commanders, dude. like the
Yeah.
Commanders.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even close. That game wasn't even that close.
No, it wasn't. Yeah.
It was, I mean, they got beat. And it was like, I hear the excuses about like, oh, all the injuries on defense and all this. Hey, then don't go to the playoffs next time you get invited then. If
Listen,
it's too much for you, don't show
they
up.
had all those injuries and they beat the shit out of the Vikings week 18.
Yeah. You want to know
So
why?
it's
Because this is,
yeah, I know
sorry,
your
I'll
reason.
finish my tirade. The Lions can't play against mobile quarterbacks. If you go back and you watch the Lions even a couple seasons ago, you'll see that guys like Justin Fields beat them one game and almost beat them a second game in a season because they don't know how to defend a mobile quarterback. They tee off on a Sam Darnold who can't move, but when they play a Lamar Jackson or a like a Justin Fields kind of guy or a Jaden Daniels or someone who can run, done. They
Yeah.
do not
Because
play well against
they're a
mobile.
blitz heavy team.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's so look, as much as people want to get and say how great the Lions are, like their defense and Aaron Glenn, and I agree. I'm not Aaron Glenn's not my head coach next year. I wouldn't have
Yeah.
hired him. So
Yeah.
but I also don't have a football team, so
That's true.
all right. Well,
Let's just can it.
yeah.
One thing I would like to throw out there, I thought Josh Allen played really good in the Buffalo game. I didn't mention that before, but he really is like he played extremely well. So
I think I think there's two cases that got cemented this weekend. One, Josh Allen MVP. Two, Jaden Daniels Rookie of the Year. So
Yep.
I think I had kind of vacillated a bit on the Brock Bowers case, but
That's over.
Jaden Daniels, book it. Like,
yeah.
And I would say, and then on the defensive side of the ball, Jared Verse, defensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah,
that dude,
we saw that live. Yeah,
we did, and then we saw it. I'm telling you, even though they lost, he was just. I mean, that Eagles O line is one of the best, if not the best, in the business, and he was pushed. He bull rushed Jordan Mailata back. I've never seen anybody do that. He pushed him straight back into Jalen Hurts' lap, and he forced a bad throw. He had 2 sacks. He was an animal.
He's a stud.
Yeah.
I didn't see a ton of that game, but I did see that it was snowing. It looked like a great game.
Yeah, it was.
I was doing a birthday party with kids, so it's like I was.
Yeah. Now I watched that one instead of going to the birthday party. Sorry. But I will say this. I mean, I love the snow games. It's crazy how you look at the Philadelphia Rams game, and if that game gets played in a non-snowy field, if it gets played on like a normal field, I think the Rams win that game. I mean,
that's what I love about that's home field advantage.
And that's what I love about it too. Is that it's. I mean, dude, Saquon Barkley, holy cow, man! How do you not how do the Giants not just sit up every night now, sick to their stomach, thinking about how they let that guy go?
Yeah, that's tough. I just want to go back to like an old theory I've had. I've never said this on here before, but the Minnesota Vikings play in a dome. Back in the 70s, they used to play outside.
And for a brief period in the 2000s.
Yes, and they would go to playoff games. Now, I know that they lost to the Seahawks in that one game. It was still close, but I'm just saying, like, there's something about these teams that, like the Buffalo Bills, they play outside. You got to go there. You got to play in the cold late in the season, and there's home field advantage. The Packers have done it, but some of these dome teams, it's like they play in a dome, and then all of a sudden they got to go outside, and it's like, I don't know, you little pussies, what's going to happen? And it's like that's the difference. What happens?
Look at the AFC. To me, you look at the AFC, and the toughest teams in the AFC to beat are all teams that play in weather. And when you look at the teams that try to break that group, it's like the Dolphins or the Texans, and they get in weather, they don't play as well. Like especially on they're not used to it. So you look at the toughest teams. I mean, and I know the Bengals didn't make the playoffs, but I'm going to put them in there too because I think they're a good team.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it can get crazy cold.
Yeah. And so all those teams play in cold weather and just they knuckle up. There's very few dome teams in the AFC, it seems like. So
yeah, the Chargers always tend to choke too. So that's interesting.
Yeah. Yep. Well, but they choke in any weather. So
they'll choke in a dome.
They're not picky. They don't care how cold or warm it is. They'll choke in any weather anywhere they can.
I feel bad for them a little bit.
Yeah, I do too. I like the Chargers and I want to like the Chargers, but it's like they're just hard to like sometimes because of how bad they are with choking. It's Justin Herbert is going to be one of those guys where we're going to look back and just what a waste of such talent. Like it just feels like
I mean, maybe he's the problem too. I mean, he didn't have a good game.
Ah, I don't. I
Is it
mean,
his ceiling?
he did.
Maybe
Yeah,
he's reached his
exactly. Well,
ceiling. It's like
here's the
everybody
thing.
says that when they don't win.
Exactly. And you know what? They're talking about Jared Goff reaching his ceiling this week, and next week it'll be, whoever, like, if Jaden Daniels, let's say the Eagles win. Oh well, when the Eagles put pressure on Jaden Daniels, he crumbled. He didn't know how to handle a physical this. It's just, that's
Yeah,
the sports
he played
cycle. It's
outside.
Yeah. It'll be what it'll be. And same thing with,
Yeah.
like, like, let's
Oh, if
say that.
Josh Allen loses,
Right. He can't beat Mahomes. Or, for, God forbid, the Bills beat the Chiefs. It'll be like, oh, does Patrick Mahomes not have it anymore? Like, maybe this is the 1 year Mahomes
yeah,
doesn't come up with the magic and drive him down or
right,
something. And then everybody's
right.
like, oh, is this it? Is Mahomes done? Like, is he
Did
soft?
Taylor Swift jinx him?
Did Travis Kelsey get too fat? Yeah. It's just,
It was
golly. All
Caitlin
right.
Clark.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Caitlin Clark was there. That's the jinx.
Let's talk about Playbook really quick. I got the
All right.
winners here. Playbook, there was 42 legendary or hard wins, 869 rare wins, which was a big number,
Yeah.
2,602 easies, and 3,973 free packs.
So like you called in last week's episode, a lot of people were going to win and a lot of people did. So yes, and I think we agreed on this, is that it was really designed for you having the moments. I don't want to say there wasn't like layups. I think, again, like, to me the harder part was the quarterback play, just because there were so many outside cold games.
Sure.
But as long
Yep.
as you had a Jared Goff or Jaden Daniels, you were safe. Like, it felt like
Yep.
going into this weekend, you and I talked, and I said to you I said, if you just play the Lions trio, you'll probably will win. And
Yeah.
and even though they lost, they still all hit. So
Yeah.
it is what it
Hey,
is.
Gibbs had a great game. That
He
dude
did.
is a
He
stud.
is. Yeah, he is. What's funny is, I remember when they drafted him, everybody was like, why did they draft this? Like, he was kind of like he's like a decent college running back, but he was like, he's like kind of small and undersized. They're like, why draft him in the first
Yeah.
round? He's like a second or a third round guy, man.
Yeah.
Good. Hey, I don't know who the Lions GM is. I forget his name offhand, but that guy
Yeah.
right there,
Yeah. That one
that was
paid
a
off.
smart pick. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, they saw something there that a lot of other teams didn't, and man, Jahmyr Gibbs has been.
Or
And
Jahmyr Gibbs. Yeah.
to his credit, Jahmyr Gibbs, like, when David Montgomery was out, took the tough yards in between the tackles and did really well. Where a lot of people thought,
Yeah.
oh, he won't be able to do that, but it was
Yeah.
nice seeing David Montgomery back out there. Man, he runs so hard. You could see, like, he was like getting some. He would take these hits and keep running, and you're just like, nah, Gibbs wouldn't do that. So
Right. Right.
they're a great combo. I hope they stay together. I love watching those two together.
Sure.
I think they got to stick together.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
All right. So,
So
playbook. So lots of people hit. We haven't got the playbook. It's only Monday, so we haven't seen the playbook
yeah.
for this week yet. That's coming, but I'm anticipating it'll be the same, but it's going to get tighter, right? The supply is tighter. We're looking at, let's just talk. Who's going to have who do you see kind of being the guys to play now that the Lions are out? Those were always kind of the go-to. So, what do you think?
What?
Passing yards, passing touchdowns. Who do you think?
I'm just thinking of, like,
play?
I'm thinking of hard mode, and like, I would think the Jalen Hurts market is going to be on fire, because it seems like the other three are going to be like, Josh Allen has quite a few legendaries, so maybe you can get one of the last ones, but Mahomes are all really high. Yep. Jaden Daniels doesn't have that much.
But Mahomes didn't hit last week. He only threw for, but again, I think Chiefs Bills, I think that could be a lot of passing yards. Those games tend to be shootout. Like, maybe I'm not remembering correctly, but I kind of feel like most of those games have been higher scoring. Yeah. They just, at least I'm remembering that way.
I feel like, man, taking Josh Allen with rushing yards too.
Yeah. Jeez, I feel like rushing touchdowns. He's like always. He feels like he's like the guy that gets all their rushing touchdowns too.
Yeah.
And against the Chiefs, I definitely see him running the ball a lot. I don't see them throwing it. I don't know. Yeah, I think Mahomes through the air more. Allen on the ground. He's going to have to run a lot and be creative, and they're going to probably do a lot of design runs. On the other side of the ball, running back Saquon.
Barkley. Yeah.
I don't care what the stat is, just Saquon. Touches,
I
touchdowns,
think
longest
he is
run,
good.
anything. He
I
is the
think
guy.
the Commanders are going to get eaten alive by that guy.
He is, I guarantee. Yeah, I
They're
mean,
gonna
look, I
slow
think the
grind
Commanders are
him.
going to win the game, but I think Saquon will bust one. I think he'll get a hit a home run, during that game. The
I
Commanders
think
defense isn't that good to hold
I
him
think they're
the whole
gonna
game.
slow grind him. They're gonna slow grind him and just start wearing out that clock.
Yeah,
And it's just gonna be too much.
yeah.
Daniels is gonna take a couple shots, and not to like harp on the cold weather, but a couple shots in the cold weather. It's like the
Mhm.
Eagles. It's tough to play up there. Not, I
It
mean, I know
is,
they're
yeah,
in DC, so it's like, I mean, they're not too far away, but I'm just saying, man, Eagles. I mean, that's like the fans are rough. I mean, everything's just
yeah.
like
Well,
fighting.
did you hear about the one fan during the Packers game who got like fired from his job and everything for?
Right, but
They
then there
are
were
rough
like,
fans there.
yeah, but then there were influencers. Did you hear about that part?
Oh no, the people who were
So
getting yelled
the
at.
Packer fans were influencers, so then everybody's like,
Oh,
"Oh, fuck these guys."
oh no, I didn't hear that part.
But I mean, what the guy said was
I mean, I
pretty
don't. Yeah,
next. Yeah,
who
yeah,
cares what they were? It's like that was still pretty inappropriate. So
yeah. I just didn't know if they were baiting them because they were influencers and then started
I
recruiting
don't
at
think so. It
certain.
sounded like they were just like they're rooting for the. I mean,
Yeah,
I actually have
when you
been to the
haul
new
off and start
stadium.
calling some girl like the C word, and it's
Yeah, and
yeah,
like just unprovoked too. It's like,
yeah, that was just like.
yeah, I mean, this is the same fan base that hits Santa with snowballs.
I thought it
I
was
mean, like
batteries. Yeah,
batteries or
or
whatever.
maybe yeah. Eagle, yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So
Anyway,
it is what it is. But
yeah.
all right. So who's your Super Bowl match? Let's talk Super Bowl matchup. Who do you got then? Who are your two going in?
I'm gonna say Chiefs versus Eagles because that's the one I don't want, and it just seems like every year it's that same old story.
Yeah,
I can't think of a worse Super Bowl than the Chiefs versus Eagles, and it's just
yeah,
like I feel like whenever you want a Super Bowl, I wanted the
yeah.
Bills versus the Lions, and it's like you're not
Falling
gonna get it.
apart.
So
Yeah.
I'm
I
just
agree
I'm
that
gonna
the Chiefs Eagles is the worst. Like I would be the least interested in that game. So, so you're right. The Murphy's Law in me would want to agree with you. But
yep.
the eternal jaded Bears fan in me sees the Bears Misery Bowl, where the guy that we could have drafted when we drafted Mitch Trubisky playing against the guy we could have drafted when we drafted Caleb Williams. So I like my odds there in Bears Misery. So I'm going Chiefs Commanders.
Chiefs Commanders.
Yeah.
I really hope the Bills win.
I
I
do
like
too. I am 100% rooting for the Bills, but
I am gonna cheer for the Bills like I would cheer for the Jaguars.
yeah.
I am gonna be screaming like a little girl.
Well, you do that all the time, but
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
yeah.
So anyway, yeah. All right. So what else do we got? Let's cover some other stuff.
Yep.
Some all day
All right.
stuff. Quick. I know that they got like some. They had some trade ins for like for
Yep.
serial
For
numbers. I noticed a lot of
chance at
like
serial numbers. Yep.
yeah, chances at serial numbers, and I saw like T.J. Hawkinson, Series 2 getting burned up. I saw
Mm-hmm.
Dallas Goddard, Series 1 getting burned up. Mike Evans, Series 1 getting burned up. So it was nice to see some of those Series 1 rares getting burned up quite a bit of them.
Yep.
And I know there were some other ones mixed in there as well, but I was really happy to see obviously Series 1 rares and legendaries getting burned.
Yes. That is to me, that's a good thing to see too. I agree with you 100%. It's speaking of that, kind of in that same vein, I wanted to talk to you about a prediction you made, which is $1 rares, and
Yeah.
how we are getting perilously close to $1 rares. Which is kind of it's so like what I don't get is why people. I mean, again, when people get upset that there's $1 rares, the only people that are to blame are the people holding the moments. So,
Yeah.
um, it's just we got too many people who are trying to flip and get to the next best thing and not collect and not keep, and because they don't feel like there's like a reason to, because there's not the utility they want or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you said you saw. I've seen some $3 rares, but you said you saw a couple of $2 rares.
Oh yeah, I saw $2 rares. Yeah, yeah.
Were they
Oh yeah.
offers or were they like
I
priced
think
at
they were
$2?
offers, but I mean, again, no, they're
Okay.
not priced at 2, but they're like, I mean, if they're getting bought at 2, they're 2,
Yeah.
right?
No, I know, but I was curious just to know if there was anything that listed that low yet.
I think a lot of people are keeping the lists high, but they're just like, yeah, fuck it, and they
Yeah.
take the
Well, yeah,
offer.
because people want like you got some of these guys who just want to chase certain moments, and so they just buy a bazillion packs and then just dump the supply onto the market. And if people don't buy it right away, then they just start taking all the offers and they go super cheap. I mean, we see it all the time with like Aging Hipster, or I don't know,
Yeah.
there's a bunch of other guys that chase packs, and so
So
it's go ahead.
I was just gonna say that the one, I guess the silver lining of it to me is that as I see people dumping these and I see these trade-ins where you start to see these moments get burnt, it's like if they don't have value to them, like TJ Hawkinson or whoever, it's like the supply is just like gonna start it's going to start shrinking. So eventually, I think we're going to get to the place we want to be, and that is that there's not going to be enough of these to go around, and then Series One and Series Two will kind of start to take flight. So
Yeah,
I think if I'm all day, I keep running these challenges where the Series One and Series Two, and then let them get low. But like the one place, the area that I look is the Series One Commons, and I always notice that they're like 26 cents and all the other ones are like 10 cents. So there's just like there's a little bit of like a break there where it's like I don't know
yeah.
why they're worth more. I don't understand why, but they
Well,
are.
because it's series one, and if anything is going to
Well,
catch
there's more of
value,
them though.
yeah, I know. But if there's any,
There's
but if
10,000
there's
of them.
yeah, but I think if people come into the product, that's a place
Yeah.
they're going to want to be is series one. So,
But if people are just
um,
truly dumping these, it's like I guess maybe I don't understand like because there's 10,000 of every one of them,
I
so
know,
it would
but
make
what I would
sense.
say is there's probably a bunch of dormant accounts out there with a lot of Series 1 common moments that are
Right.
just people who walked away who, had probably $100 or $200 in moments, but they're all
Okay.
commons and they just walked away and they said, I don't like whatever, I'll come back in 5 years, right? And so what you're seeing flood the market are the common moments now that people are pulling out of packs because Floaty wasn't around in Series 1, right? Floaty wasn't
I
around in Series
understand.
2. So I think it's personally just like there's a lot of dormant accounts with a bunch of common moments that are just like I don't care. I'm not. It's not worth my time to go list those things for to get $100 out of the system. It's just not worth it. I'm just gonna sit back. Versus you do have people now who are buying packs and they don't want the moments in their collection. They're just like ship them out. If they're not if they're not exactly who I want, I'm getting rid of them.
Well, I guess what I would say though is like let's take Tashawn Wharton for example. I think there's 10,000 of him. Let's pretend there is. I, take 5,000 of those and put them in dormant accounts and say there's 5,000 left. That's still more than a lot of the comments that are out right now. And it's like you would think that would there'd be enough of those still that price would be even lower than the ones that have like 3,000 and 2,000. But there's like some of these moments that only have 2,000, 1,000 that are 2024 moments and they're going for 10 cents. And then you've got one where there's probably like 5,000 in the ecosystem and they're still going for more.
Yeah,
That's the thing that like it seems like the numbers would still be on the side of series one would there's just so many of them you would think that would be the cheapest one. So that's again, I know people don't really care about commons, but that's the one thing that I see like okay, like to me that's a little bit of an indicator. And again, I like seeing like the $1 to $2 rares means that people think that they're just garbage and we'll start
yeah,
to burn them up and things will start to shift here. I just hope that all day sticks to their guns, keeps doing the trade-ins, and in about 3 seasons, it'll start to happen where I think that you'll
yeah,
start to see that these series ones and I think at that point, if there's a push into the product, then people will be like, oh shit, and that's that fear of missing out. And I think that's when this thing takes flight. That's to me, that's what makes this thing take flight is when there's a fear of missing out that you can't get certain things and like maybe there's one or two of them that are worth a lot and people just want to get
yeah,
it just to have it. Like people from Top Shot say, "Oh, there's one that's hard to get. What are you talking about?" And then they go over and they're like, "Well, I'm going to grab one."
yeah.
And then it's
Maybe,
just like
hey,
that
maybe
snowball
maybe it's
effect.
Nikhil Harry.
It might be Nikhil Harry. I don't know.
He's a rare though, but I'm just saying, maybe it's Nikhil Harry. Like, no, 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 I get what
Maybe
you're
it
saying. And
is.
again, the key phrase there is just like new. We like if there's ever a push into the product, and so again, we'll see what's happening with the whole crypto space. I don't know. I don't want to go too far down another rabbit hole, but with like Trump launching scam meme coins the day before he goes into office, I gotta wonder if this isn't like part of me is like, is this the beginning of the wild wild? Like, is this the beginning of like moonshot of crypto, or is this the beginning of the end of crypto? Because after they figure this out, they're going to regulate the hell out of it, and
Yeah.
it'll never do anything. So
Yeah. It's like Hawk Tua's started up that and now we're like,
it,
yeah.
I mean, it did, like, not to be whatever, but like Haktua's scam was like this, whereas
Yeah.
like it wasn't like the Trump one where 80% of value is locked up. Like I'm not trying to make this political or whatever.
Right.
So apologies to
Just from
anybody
a
who,
yeah,
but just
yeah,
from like
whatever
a
side.
pure crypto
Numbers.
perspective, it is not like it's crazy because it did super well, and I know it's come back down a bit, but man, I do not touch that because 80% of the value is locked into the the developers, the people who made it, which that is not what you want to see, especially when it's being anyway. Yeah, so I don't even know. Like, I used to feel
Yeah.
pretty confident that crypto was going to do really well over these next 4 years, and I'm a little less confident after seeing some of the stuff that's going, the
Right.
shenanigans. So
Yes. Yeah, I mean, Bitcoin jumped up to like 107 and then it just
it
dropped right
did,
back
then
down.
went down, and now I think now it's back over 100. But yeah, it's it
It's
is it's just going to
yeah,
take time. So
it's just kind of doing a
yeah,
little bit of that right now.
doing
So,
its thing.
doing its
Um,
thing.
All right, so one other thing, there was like wild card packs this week, and there was like the premium packs, which were pretty overpriced. They were
What are you
$44
talking
only.
about?
They but what's interesting is, and I just looked to confirm, the $9 quick rip packs, which also kind of overpriced. There is still a Bucky Irving Ultimate sitting out there in a $9 pack. So
Hmm.
4,300 of the 6,000 packs have been opened. So about 72% of the packs have been open. And the Bucky Irving number 10 of 10 Ultimate Moment still has not been pulled yet.
Got it. All right.
So that's pretty interesting for anybody who's a chaser of those.
Okay.
Um,
So what are we thinking? Okay, not to skip on packs. Are you done on your pack rant?
no, it's not a rant. I was just more saying I
No,
just
no,
thought that
but
was
are you,
interesting.
yeah. I was gonna ask you, like, I mean, we're here for the Super Bowl. We're
Yep.
close. We talked about maybe doing a moment like as the Super Bowl's like wrapping up, doing the MVP type of thing. Do
Yep.
we have any like predictions? Do we have any thoughts on like what?
So they've already announced that there's a 1 of 10 ultimate for the Super Bowl, and that someone, if you buy these packs, each pack is an entry to win that moment. So they're giving 1 of the 10 ultimates away to people buying packs this week, and I would assume they're going to
Hmm,
do it with the divisional and the conference rounds too. So I would assume they're going to give a multiple away over the next few weeks. So, but yeah, we're going to see the same formula, which is a ultimate that is going to be a moment out of the Super Bowl, probably most likely the MVP.
got it, got it. What are you thinking on ultimates? Like, have they ruined the ultimate yet?
Oh yeah. No, well, okay. Have they ruined the
I don't.
ultimate
I,
yet?
I don't. I
No,
don't
they
think
have
they've
not
ruined
ruined the
the.
ultimate yet. They have ruined the legendary, but they have not ruined the ultimate.
I think what they need to do is they just need to like we had talked last season. Like they need to use the ultimate to really rev things up, and they did. But they
Yep.
need to chill the fuck out. They need to stop. Like no
Yeah.
ultimates until next season. Like none.
I mean, I
Like
think
do
there'll
the
be the
Super
Super Bowl
Bowl.
one,
Yeah,
and that'll be it.
stop.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
I think that's, and now in the off season they may do like some like historical players or whatever,
they
but I
should.
don't think there'll be any more current players this season.
I don't know who's in the Hall of Fame class this year. Did they pick that yet? They picked that.
Did they announce it? I know that I don't know if they've announced the finalists yet. Have they?
No, maybe they don't. I'm trying to remember what they because
I
that's
think
like
that
right around the Hall of Fame.
happens.
Yeah, it happens right around the Hall of Fame game.
No, the I think it's actually during the Super Bowl week that they announce the finalists.
When you say the
Not
finalists, you mean the
not the
people, not the
people getting
winners.
in, but like the final 15, and then like seven of
Right,
them get in.
right. I'm trying to remember like when they go and knock on the doors.
The Doors is when they actually pick the guys. That's in the summer.
W-
So
Is it
that
during the
is,
summer?
I think it's, I feel
I
like it
feel
is. Yeah.
I feel like there was like in August right around the Hall of Fame game. I felt like that well no because we knew who the people were going in. You know what? We know who they are because I can tell you I I've been to the Hall of Fame and I remember seeing them in the middle of the summer on the wall.
Yeah.
So
So
I'm a
they've
little
already announced the semifinalists.
okay.
Um, so they're out there. So Luke
Who do
Kuechly,
we got
Steve
on the
Smith.
list?
So Luke Kuechly, Steve Smith, Eric Allen, Jared Allen, Willie Anderson, Anquan Bolden, Jahari Evans, Antonio Gates, James Harrison, Rodney Harrison.
None of those warrant an ultimate. None of them.
Well,
We
James
don't have
Harrison
like
already has an ultimate.
right, but that's more of a play. Well, no, it's not. It's him.
It's
None of
totally
those.
him.
Yeah, but I'm just saying none of those warrant an ultimate. I don't think so. I
Well,
say
but what they did last year, remember, wasn't really around the Hall of. They did some stuff around the Hall of Famers, but they also did the anniversary. So remember, they did like class of '99, class of '94. So this year it'll be class of
oh, okay. I
what
see what you're saying.
90,
Yep, yep,
95
yep.
and 2000. And so
Yeah,
whoever was drafted in those classes could maybe see some moments as well.
yeah. I think this is the year to pick. I think they need to pick a good year. They need to pick a better class. Like I mean,
Yeah. I mean,
I think they need.
a lot of these guys, I'm thinking like not a lot, but like Bolden's got a moment. I think Kuechly's got a moment. Steve Smith, does he have a moment? He might.
Yeah,
I don't. Yeah,
I think he does.
I feel like he
Yeah,
does. I'm pulling up the '95 draft class. Um, oof, some that's some
some
deep
rough
sledding
sledding.
here. It's no, there's some just not great, but like Tony Baselli was a 95er, but he's already got a legendary and such. Steve McNair, Kerry Collins, Michael
Really? He's
Westbrook,
in the Hall
Kajana
of Fame?
Carter. No. These are the for the draft class. So
Oh,
when they do
draft
the
classes.
anniversary of the draft class,
I
I'm just
see what you're
saying
talking.
who's some
Okay,
guys
okay.
that they can do. So Kajana Carter, Tony Baselli, Steve McNair, Michael Westbrook, Kerry Collins, Kevin Carter, Mike Mamula, Joey Galloway,
Hmm.
Kyle Brady, JJ Stokes, Warren Sapp, that's a big name.
Yeah.
Hugh Douglas, Tyrone Wheatley, and Napoleon Kaufman both were in that draft.
Huh.
James Stewart, the running back James Stewart from the Jags, was in that draft.
I thought Stewart
Rashawn
was a
Salam,
Panther.
Ty Law, Derek Brooks, although he's already got a legendary,
Yeah, he
so I
does.
don't know
He's
if they're
got like
going to do that
multiple.
same. Yeah. Let's see here. Rolling through the later rounds. Yeah, I don't know. This may not be a good year to do a anniversary of. I feel like the 2000 draft was better. I can't remember. Let's take a peek at that one. LeVar Arrington, Jamal Lewis,
Yeah, this
Thomas
is not good.
Jones, Plaxico Burress, Brian
Hmm.
Urlacher, John Abram,
How
Bubba
about
Franks.
Another Brian Urlacher moment?
I mean, I'm a Bears fan,
Oh
and I'm
god.
like, I don't know. I'm saying I'm good.
Yeah,
Mike
I know.
Brown. I would love like Mike Brown. There's a guy who he's had some moments, man. Oh, he had some
Yeah,
games where he had like a. I remember there was a game against the Browns where he had a pick six that won it off of Tim Couch in overtime. So
yeah.
yeah, so might not be the year to run the draft. I mean, they probably
Maybe they
will
should
anyway,
change the
but
format or something like that. You know what I'd like to see? I'm just gonna pitch something wild here because I like to pitch wild shit.
pitch
Is maybe they should do a vote, and pick like your top like 5 moments. Like if your team is selected at the top, you got the Bears, I got the Jags. You pick your top 5 guys that you'd like to see a moment from historically. And like maybe like I know everybody's gonna pick like the big guys, but maybe if they say, okay, we can't do like Deion Sanders or we can't do, this
yeah,
person or that person, but maybe like take like number 3, 4, 5 just to get like a list going of
yeah.
like some players that people would like to see that aren't on there and kind of go with something like that instead of trying to say, well, it was the class of this, so we got to do these guys.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I hope they don't do the class of whatever idea this year. I would rather see them just like I'd rather see them like pick a position and just be like, like do like the great whatever running backs, the
The
great
great
DNs, the
safeties,
great
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So
And start
because I
getting
would
some of
much
these
rather
guys.
collect. I'll tell you
Yeah,
what, if they do draft classes, it will be a very easy pass for me, which I'm happy to have a little break from all day purchasing since I kind of went a little wild this year on some of the hollows and that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
happy to take a break this summer if they want to go with class of whatever. Um, but I sure hope. I mean, for the product's sake, I hope they don't because it just kind of makes it more boring. Um, but
I
nonetheless, if
feel
they
like
do, it'll
they've
be
been
easy to pass.
right. They've been missing on the historicals for quite some time, I think. And I think it's time to make a change there. And again,
I
I
feel
think they
like
need
they're
to get
saving them for something because there's no Barry Sanders, there's no Emmett Smith, there's no Walter Payton, there's no Jim Brown. Like, I mean, some of the top, running like I think the best running back we've seen a moment from is Eric Dickerson.
yeah.
Not present day. I'm talking historicals here, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, they do have like a Joe Montana.
Yeah, but I said running back, but yeah, but like
Right.
quarterbacks again, historicals like okay, but no Dan Marino, no Jim. No, Jim Kelly does have one. I think they've actually used more of the quarterbacks. Does Steve Young have one? I don't believe Steve Young does.
I don't know. Maybe.
That run against the Vikings, man. I mean, that should be a moment.
Right. I mean, and
Um,
again, I'd have to dig in to see who they have as far as historical quarterbacks. But I mean, I feel like there's a lot of quarterbacks out there that just like, probably got past them. Well, I'm trying to think. Maybe they do have a lot of these guys. Does Dan Fouts have one?
he might. Peyton Manning doesn't though. There's a guy who needs one.
Yeah, I mean, they need to kind of rip the Band-Aid off here on these historicals
How
and
about
get
does
busy ones.
Breeze doesn't have one, does he?
I don't know.
I don't think
I
he
don't know.
does.
Or maybe, like I mean,
But
again,
okay,
yeah,
so here, but like Breeze, Aikman, Warner, trying to think who else does or doesn't have them.
how about this? I mean, like, what if they do a historical banner collection?
Oh, where they do? Yeah, we talked about this before. Where they just do like
Like again, like
seasons.
I think like that might be like the thing that people get like interested in. I mean, like, again, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. But again, maybe they should put more of this to like a vote and say like, what would you like to see historically? Like, maybe people would like to see historical banner moments. I don't know. I mean, I guess
I mean, I think collectors would, and a few people would, but ultimately, I don't think they would. I think people would rather have players than team moments because if I'm like, hey, do you care
yeah.
about the 94 49ers? No. But do you care about Jerry Rice? Yes. So I think that's what it boils down to. Like why
Okay.
waste like
Because you
if you
could
do it
you could do this a banner moment from every single team, and that is your ticket to playing like a what's it called? Like a pick 'em for the teams.
oh,
Like they
like we
do it
talked about.
right, and so like that's how they sell these things. They say, "Hey, we're
Yeah.
going to sell these things and like that's your ticket to playing that game moving forward." And
I
I
would
mean,
rather see them take banner moments each year. And if you want to play the pick 'em, then you buy the banner moments that year. Like that would be like, look, as much as people would complain, like there's a way to get people to buy like the banner moments for a team every single year. If you want to be on this, there's only 240, and you have to buy them all or whatever if you want to play that team in the pick 'em league. And then
okay, I'm going to
and that it's only good for that year.
I'm doubling down on what you're saying. How about this?
All
They
right.
sell them at the beginning of the season. They're dynamic moments. They're
Yeah,
blank, and they
that's what
add
I'm
to them
saying.
as the season.
Yeah,
Okay, well, you didn't
yeah.
clearly say that. I'm just saying, like, yeah, they sell them as
Sorry.
blank moments, and then they're dynamic, and they add to them, and like, yeah,
Correct.
and they do it
Agreed.
every season, and it's it's
Yeah.
good for that year.
And
But
then
they have to,
and then here's the thing, and here's why I like this idea because at the end of the season, people are gonna be like, oh, blah 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 blah. Hey, look, dude, if you're a team collector and all you want is your team moments, just wait till the end of the year, and people will dump them who aren't team collectors super cheap,
right,
so and then they'll go buy the next year one, right? So if you just want to be a collector and you just like team moments and you want like a few different teams, great, just wait till the end of the year. But if you want to play the pick 'em, start at the beginning then and pony up and
right,
pay the extra dollars so you can play in a league that gets you prizes
right.
if you do the pick'ems right. So
I mean, that's how they sell packs. I mean, like that, they got to do something like, again, like I don't know if it's through historicals or through banners. I mean, they could even sell the blank moments for the next year. They could sell those in August. They could, I
yeah,
mean, I don't want to get crazy with it, but they could almost even just do this with preseason. They could sell them in July, have them ready, do a test run through the preseason and
yep.
test them out for small prizes, and then like have it ready to go. Because I feel like, remember with Playbook, wasn't it that they didn't have it ready to go for like week 1 or something like that? Like it kind of took flight.
Yeah.
Wasn't there something like that that happened this year? Like it
Yeah,
wasn't
it
quite.
was it
They
was it
started
not?
week 2. Remember there was like all like the
Yeah,
trial
something
shit, and
was
they were
weird
trying to
with
get
play.
it.
Yeah, something was weird with week 1. Yeah, you're
So
absolutely right.
again, they should have it ready to go for preseason. Test it
Yeah,
in preseason. You're locked and loaded for week 1.
yeah.
I'm full of
Too
ideas.
too
Full of
bad we don't code because we could develop that, man. We should be making that.
yeah. Yeah, I'm too
Um,
busy playing NBA jams back there.
he's on fire.
Yeah. Boom shakalaka.
That's right. All right, so we talked about the rare. We talked about Nikhil, the playoffs, the playbook. I think that's kind of anything
I don't
else you
think
got.
there's shit that I mean, we're talking about historicals, man. There's nothing left to talk
That's
about.
true. If we're talking about historicals, it's not great.
No,
Uh,
it's not.
all right.
So,
Well, let's wrap this puppy up and get it out there, and we will catch you all in the next one.
Nikhil Harry.